The most common question I get asked is, how do I get my head back in the game to start losing weight again, getting fit, getting healthy? And as a weight loss coach and a hypnotherapist, I have a really simple but powerful piece of advice for them that helps every time. So if you've been wondering the same thing, then make sure you watch all the way through the end, because we're going to go through the idea itself, and then we're going to go through some strategies to make sure that we can implement this and get the most out of it. Let's get into it. So I want to start with a quote that says, "Until the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the pain of change, you won't." So basically what this quote is saying is that staying the same is painful and change is also painful. Only the one that is perceived as more painful is the one that you're going to avoid. The one that's perceived as less painful is the one you're going to be unconsciously drawn to. So it's about managing the perceptions of pain. The perception of how painful staying the same is we want to increase when it comes to weight loss and improving our health. Looking at how painful it is to remain in the current weight that we are, and then what will we feel like in 20 years from now, or 10 years from now? If you're continuing to gain weight and continuing to feel less energy and more health problems and aches and pains throughout your body? How much is that going to affect your life? What are you going to have missed out on? And how much you'll regret that, and how much you will have want those years back. Perceiving that and concentrating on that, the more that you focus on something, the bigger it grows, and the more of an emotional connection you're going to have to that is the more that you think about it. I think we allow these things to continue in our lives when we intentionally ignore that. Say, "Oh, it's painful to think about that," so you block it out of consciousness. And then that allows it to continue, because you're looking away from the pain of staying the same. Because unconsciously you're perceiving the pain of change to be too great. If someone is thinking that to change, they're going to need to have to work out 20 times a week, and have an absolutely perfect diet, and then never eat anything, any of the treats anymore, and have salads all day, and it's too much. It's too much sacrifice and too much pain. Reducing the amount that is expected for change is a really key here, because if it's perceived as way too much, you just can't change too much at once anyway. So it's just that little bit. You just get started on a tiny thing that could be changed. Having one instead of two sugars in your coffee, or having a 10-minute walk once a week. If you reduce the what is needed enough, that it becomes really silly not to do it. So another point here is that this is the pain of staying the same and the pain of change are things that are actually constantly fluctuating. They're not a fixed number. So out of 10, how painful do you perceive change to be, or how painful do you perceive staying the same to be? It depends on your emotional state, and if you're in the midst of a craving, how painful change seems is huge, because in the moment I've got to deny this craving and say no to those things, and it seems very hard at the time. And also, while that craving is alive, the idea of all the pain involved in staying the same is just blocked out of consciousness. Our minds do these nice, cool little tricks with us, and then we are completely ignoring all the pain that the weight causes, and only thinking about the pleasure involved with it. So, in those moments, when you catch yourself, you can think about the pain involved. Think about the pain of staying the same. Think about what it's going to cost you to do that. Think about yourself. Will you be happy to be 20 kilos heavier? Will you be happy to continue like this? Will you be happy to keep this cycle going in your life? And you concentrate on the pain that it causes in the long run, and you associate that pain to whatever it is that you're craving, then it's going to be a lot less appealing. So playing with this pain and pleasure, and the pain of staying the same, and the pain of change, this is really, really key to long-term engagement with your weight loss and with your healthy lifestyle. So for extra points, you want to increase the amount of pleasure involved in the change. If there's only pain perceived, more or less pain in the change process, then that's just not going to be appealing at all. So being able to perceive the change process as something that is desirable and going to improve your life, and it's going to be going towards being able to fit into those clothes more, being able to feel lighter and stronger, and to have more confidence, and know that the where you're heading is something that is going to be a much pleasurable life, much more fun you're going to have, much more, you're going to feel much better about yourself. So to wrap up, it's all about increasing the amount of pain involved with staying the same, with slowly putting on more and more weight, having your clothes not fitting, feeling more and more uncomfortable in your body, missing out on all these things, increasing that, and then reducing the amount of pain involved with change, doing just those little things that are necessary, getting started to get ahead, just doing what is necessary to be moving forward on the path, reducing the amount of pressure involved with all of that. Right, so remember, it is your mind that is the most powerful. Your unconscious mind is the most powerful tool in weight loss. Right? What are you unconsciously drawn to is the thing that you are going to do. That's it. Right? And I think you can see this in your own life, and anyone just checks in with themselves, they know that's true. It's what you're unconsciously drawn to. So playing with this pain and pleasure principle is what is just going to tune your mind to automatically go to the life that you want to create for yourself. And if that is something you want to hear more about, then click subscribe and hit the notifications bell and like the video if you did. And I'll see you next time.